Hey, you guys, we back again, same day. I have another amazing guest. She is a beautician. She's raw vegan and she's amazing. I call her model. I mean, she be doing her thing on Instagram and TikTok. So
Yeah.
welcome to our channel. We thank you for your time. Thank you for coming on our channel.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Wow. So they still call you guys still call yourselves beauticians?
Yeah, sometimes we're called a lot of different things: stylist, hairdresser, beautician, barbers.
Yeah, I heard all of those before. So
Yeah.
yes. So I like to start out by asking like how was your eating habits when you were growing up as a child? Like was it healthy or the American standard diet?
Okay, so I grew up in the Northeast, and I was raised around a lot of ethnic backgrounds. So, I ate all kinds of foods, and I wouldn't say that they were healthy. I would say they were, regular American standard foods.
Mhm. Yes. Oh, okay. That sounds like the way I grew up as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So,
I
so
think a
you
lot I think a lot of us did grow up that way.
yes, yes. So why did you become raw vegan, or did you do plant based or vegan first? Like, how was that journey?
I kind of went sort of pescatarian years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I just decided that meat was just really hard to digest, and I just didn't think that it was good for the human body to try to digest meat.
Mm-hmm.
And I really just didn't feel good about eating it for some reason. And looking back on it, I really don't know why I felt that way. I just did, and I just pretty much stayed a pescatarian, kind of borderline vegetarian. I still ate some dairy, but not a lot at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was pretty much my diet, was kind of Mediterranean style, where I ate a lot of fish, and I did eat a lot of like cooked and steamed vegetables and stuff, and salads and stuff like that. So my diet, it wasn't exactly the standard diet that everybody eats. I ate a little bit better, but I still had a lot of problems going on that I couldn't figure out why, if I was that healthy, why I still had so many sinus issues, urinary tract, kidney infections, chronic fatigue. I had bleeding gums. So I had just a lot of stuff going on that I just felt like, I'm not eating McDonald's. I'm not doing what everybody else is doing. Why aren't I healthy? So, I just researched things, and I did go on a juice fast before I ever really went raw. And I started noticing that the only thing I felt good after that I would eat would be like more raw foods. And the more that I would stick anything in my body, like bread, rices, or pastas, or anything cooked like that, I would just feel really bad afterward. So I didn't really know that much about raw foods. You know, um, I didn't really go on social media a lot and look at a lot of that stuff because I was busy all the time. And I started taking the time and really trying to find people, as like there's such thing as people eating raw foods. I mean, I just didn't really know anything about it. And I came across Marcus Rothkranz, the first person that I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to do like these lectures and stuff, talking to people, and he was like this surfer dude or whatever. And for some reason I knew that he wasn't just some radical guy. I really thought that he knew what he was talking about. I believed what he was saying because it made so much sense to me, especially because I was noticing how much better I felt when I didn't eat those things. And he always talked about people eating breads, pastas, and cereals. That was like one thing I remember. And I thought, well, that's the stuff that really makes me feel crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So that was where I got started with it. And then I came across Annette Larkins was like the second person that I ran into, and she did like a lot of sprouting and all this, and I was like amazed by her. Like, I just thought she was the most amazing human being on the planet. At that time, I've never seen anybody live like that and do what she was doing and look so young and vibrant at her age, and be doing all of these things in her garden where she was eating all of the fresh fruits and vegetables from her garden. And I thought, well, that's why she looks and feels as well as she does. So I kind of followed her, and I stayed, with Marcus, and then I just kind of branched off and found more and more people, and I got to where I was so interested in it that I started to want to open my own little channel, because as I did these things and I started doing like cleanses, and
Mhm.
I started feeling better, and I started getting rid of these symptoms and having all this like life force energy, I was like, what the heck? I mean, how did I miss this? So I wanted to bring the news to everybody in the world that I could. So that was how I got so excited about doing it. And I've just kind of just stayed on it since then. I've been on it for over 6 years.
Mhm.
And, probably about 3 years ago or so, I opened my channel and got started with that. And, Instagram and everything, started meeting more and more people and getting more and more excited about it. So right now I'm taking Karen Ramsey's coaching classes so that could become a raw vegan coach.
Mhm.
And, I'm just traveling further and further into this.
Yes. Wow. That's an amazing journey as well. So thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
So, did you see any healing that took place? What are the things that you experienced?
Okay, so one of the first things that I started dealing with was getting rid of parasites.
Mm.
Okay, I started to realize that I thought that I had like some parasite problems going on. And so when I started doing the cleansings and I started doing some shorter juice fasts here and there and water fasts and stuff, and I did get one of Marcus Rothkranz's cleansing products for parasites.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I started to find parasites,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I saw a huge big thing that came out. I just That one took a really long time, but it was like absolutely unbelievably amazing to me, and that was just like the thing that convinced me that everybody is like sick
Mm-hmm.
and we're full of parasites. And we for me to be not even somebody who ate as bad as a lot of people, you can only imagine what's going on inside of a lot of people's bodies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I started with that, and then I had mercury amalgams in my mouth still, and I wanted to get those out and have them replaced with porcelain. And so I did that, and that kind of put me through sort of a detox too, because some of that stuff kind of can come loose in your body. And I was eating a lot of cilantro and trying to get rid of heavy metals in my body for a while. So I had a lot of like confusion when I was going through that for a little bit. But once I did these things and this stuff started to lift out of me, I just started to feel more and more alert
Mm-hmm.
and better. And I just started to become a human being. I used to feel like I had these like curtains over me over my eyes or something, like I couldn't see out through sickness and illness. And I like I said, I didn't have like major like lupus or diabetes or anything, but I had a lot of these things going on in my body that were making me feel terrible. And
Mm-hmm.
then I felt like I probably had you can even have parasites in your sinuses, and you can have them even in where your mouth is connected to your sinuses and stuff. And so I think a lot of that stuff can cause a lot of brain fog and major issues in a lot of people, and they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Wow. Even in the brain. I mean, it
Yes.
can go anywhere. Wow. Yes. Wow. That is amazing with the detox. Wow. And wow. Yes. Marcus has some great products too. So, yeah.
He does. He has some real good products.
Yes. Did you? I know you mentioned about your teeth and UTIs and other issues. Did those things heal up?
They did. I mean, I have to tell you that I have not. My gums started bleeding, stopped bleeding after that. Shortly after I started raw vegan diet, and I had that mercury removed, and my gums just stopped bleeding. I have not had a urinary tract infection, a kidney infection, or a migraine headache since I started a raw vegan diet. Unless I was detoxing, I might have gotten a headache that wasn't even as bad as the ones that I had
Hmm.
prior to the raw vegan diet. So I have not had to struggle with any sinuses. I was taking shots for sinuses, and I actually stopped
Wow.
and still didn't have any problems. So yeah, it's truly truly amazing what can happen on a raw vegan diet to
Mhm.
healing your body, healing all of these things that I had going on, including chronic fatigue. I mean, I have more energy now than I know what to do with, and I never had that before.
Mhm.
And I'm going through a really stressful time in my life right now. And if I was going through this before, I would not be able to still get up early every morning, exercise, work. I just would have completely like laid in the bed and fell apart because
Mhm.
things like that just used to send me out in the past because I dealt with such depression and chronic fatigue and stuff. So it's healed a lot of things in my life.
Mhm.
It's really helped me a lot with focus. I mean, it's healed my brain, not just my body, but my brain. And I feel like my brain is still healing, like I'm able to expand my brain more and learn more, and I just have a lot better focus and vision of the things that I want to do in life, things that I would have never even began to think about doing because I just had too much exhaustion and brain fog. And, so when people talk about life force energy that can really open up windows in your brain, I know exactly what they're talking about because I've experienced that. And to me, that is a form of healing.
Mhm. Yeah. Wow. Wow, that's beautiful. I've experienced some of those things as well. Wow. I mean, it's amazing how changing the way we eat, change the way we think, change our energy, just the overall being itself.
Mhm.
I mean, that is amazing.
How long have you been on a raw? Have you been on it a long time?
Well, I can go back to 2000. I've been off and on. 2009
Yeah.
is when I started, but then I
Mm-hmm.
got pregnant soon after, and though according to the doctors, I wasn't supposed to be getting pregnant, but raw
Wow.
foods will make a person, fertile. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then I got off of it, so I was going back and forth. I was probably
Yeah.
time was maybe 4 months in, and when I got pregnant, so yeah, I got off. I started having all these cravings and didn't know what to do. But I started eating everything. So yeah. But then I went back. I guess that was in 2000. I was going back and forth, but 2018 is when I went back for a longer period.
Yeah.
I had a
Okay.
hiccup. I did have a hiccup I call it hiccup in October last year.
Yeah.
Trying to figure
I
out
think
things.
these things happen.
Yeah, yeah, but that almost took me out. So yeah, the
Well,
raw.
once you go on it, you can feel the difference when
Oh,
you step out.
yes, yes, very quickly.
Yeah, yeah, it wouldn't take very long. I mean, I have people who ask me all the time. They're like, "What would happen if you had a piece of bread?" And I'm just like, "I don't want to know. I just don't want to find out."
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth it. It definitely inflammation would definitely happen. Um, some people have all types of issues that pop up, that they didn't have before, that they realized that they didn't have before. It's amazing how eating this way, eating raw vegan, and because I've recently had some white rice, and
Hmm.
I was eating the some seaweed that was not vegan. I mean raw.
Raw,
And I
yeah,
noticed I started gaining weight, but then I learned it's not weight I was gaining. I was just retaining water, but I didn't feel
yeah,
good. I felt inflammation. Like no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's not for me. Yeah. So besides Marcus and Miss Arnett Larkin, who else inspires you or inspired you to eat the way you do and spiritually, if you have any spiritual practices?
Well, Tanny Raw is another person that I like to follow. Christina Raw, Christina. A lot of people that you just see. John Kohler. John Kohler is one of my favorites. I really like him because he has a few niches. He's got the gardening and he's got the juicing and
Hmm.
all that kind of stuff. But he has a lot of knowledge. He's been doing it a really, really long time. And, I did a little bit of gardening. So, I got some tips from him when I've had a garden
Hmm.
and things like that. So, just different people. It's nice to kind of see different people's aspect and different people's style of recipes. I also love Kara Brotman, Marcus's girlfriend. I mean, I think she's really wonderful. Also, the two of them have their own little thing, but they're good separate and they're good together. So yeah, I definitely was very influenced by them too.
Hmm.
And Karen Ramsey, my
Yeah.
teacher from my classes. I've watched her quite a bit through the years.
Hmm.
Dr. Graham,
Yes.
um, Shane Sterling. I'm in one of his classes, and he's very inspiring.
Hmm.
He's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of enthusiasm.
Hmm.
Jillian Berry.
Yes. Yes. Some amazing people. I mean, wow. And then to hear, have you ever heard of Ann Wigmore?
The name sounds familiar, but I can't quite place who that is.
Yeah, she was one of the pioneers for wheatgrass and sprouts.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people got this information
And
from with the sprout.
okay, what is her name again?
Ann Wigmore.
And Wigmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so familiar, but I can't quite place her.
Well, she's no longer in. She's no longer in the body. She transitioned. She was in a fire, but she was like 80 something years old. She had 20/20 vision. Her hair was she had no gray hair. Her hair turned back to, I think it's brown,
Okay.
brunette, I think. But yeah, but they have some of her videos here on YouTube, which is amazing. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
highly recommend to check her out as well. So yes. So what are some of the biggest misconceptions of the way you eat that you've heard what people say or people may have said to you or asked?
One of the big misconceptions is the fact that people really believe that you're getting so much more minerals and things from meat. I'm not really saying that you might not get something from meat, but there's so many diverse effects and that you really need it to get certain minerals. I think that we get a lot of minerals from from plants. There's so many different minerals, and I think that people are very uneducated about how the minerals in plants have just the right amount of minerals that are distributed into the body in a way that we're actually absorbing them better than a lot of people are getting from a standard diet.
Hmm.
And a lot of people really concern a lot about like calcium, and that we're not getting enough iron and calcium and things. Calcium and magnesium are two really important things that we need. And a lot of people think that we don't get that, but actually, there's a lot of plants out there that the magnesium and the calcium that's in these plants are just the perfect ratio, that it's actually absorbing into our body so readily that we're getting a lot better magnesium and calcium than people who are drinking all this milk and all of this kind of stuff. There's so much calcium, like unneeded calcium, that you get that way, that it actually builds up in the body and the body can't use it, and it can cause a lot of your problems with cardiac problems and things they found in people like around their heart, that it's not just from fat and stuff, but there's also calcium deposits in the body that are just left there that aren't absorbed through all this animal stuff that people are eating,
Hmm. Yes.
and dairy, and and all that they think that they're getting much stronger bones. And actually, we can get so much for our bones, because magnesium is one of the things that we need for our bones too, with the calcium. And
Hmm.
and exercise, you need to do some weight bearing exercises to get strong bones. And so there's just so much like misconception and a lot of those kinds of things that I see. And even if I were to have a bad day or I feel not as good as usual, it's like, well, stop eating all that food. You need to start eating some real food. You'll feel better. It's like, no, well, sometimes I don't sleep enough. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like, it's just so like ridiculous what people think, because if
Hmm.
they could be inside my body and feel how much better I feel, I mean, maybe a couple of days out of the year I may not be having that real high level energy, but I still, even that doesn't compare to the way I used to feel.
Hmm.
And how many days of the year that I feel 100 times better than I used to.
Hmm.
So, I think people need more than just food. They need to make sure that they get enough rest, enough exercise, enough sleep. Sleep deprivation can cause a lot of problems. And, you know, it's not just food. Food is a big part of it, but it's a whole realm of things. And but people always want to put everything down on the vegans, as soon as there's a problem. But they don't talk about how they just had triple bypass and they had cancer last year and all that kind of stuff. And I don't have any of that stuff going on. So
Hmm.
it's like, it's hard to explain that stuff to people. And, there's just a lot of misconceptions that I see all over the internet and Instagram, different things that aren't vegan, and people really are down hard on the vegans
Yeah.
on some things.
Yes.
So
Yeah. That is true. And it's weird though. I heard somebody said everybody want to become uh like a nutritionist when it comes to being vegan. Like they want to tell you you're not getting enough protein and where you get, all they doctors and all these things now. So yeah.
yeah, the protein is another big misconception. That's probably the biggest one of all,
Hmm.
because people just really think that you need protein from animal fats. And that's another thing that is evenly distributed through the body through plants and stuff. And if you want some stronger, a little bit more proteins or whatever, you can do some sprouting, like with chickpeas and lentils and things like that. And eat a little bit of nuts and seeds and stuff, and you're getting plenty of protein. I mean, it's just, I don't ever remember anybody talking about going to the doctor because their protein was low.
Yeah, exactly. That is so true. Wow, that is so true, man. So what makes you excited about the way you eat?
Just the fact that not only do I know that when I eat that it gives me life force energy after that, especially when I chop up things like green leafy vegetables like kale and stuff like that, but and herbs and things, it's so important to eat that stuff, but it's also knowing that I'm nourishing my body and that I'm healing every day. I think that's what's so exciting too, is that each year I feel closer and closer to healing. I
Hmm.
have stayed steady on this for over 6 years. No bumps in the road. My biggest cheat would be eating like air dried Brad's raw chips. It's a little more processed than what I would normally eat. That's like a treat for me. I don't go back to any other foods, and so my body continues to heal. And I just see differences every year. I look at the pictures and I see differences in my eyes and the clarity. And it's just absolutely amazing because even after 3 years of healing, I noticed more profound healing in the past year or two, that I saw in the first 3 years. So I think that it's a journey to look forward to.
Hmm.
Um, aging backward. It's
Yes.
kind of fun to age backward,
Yes.
so yeah, that kind of thing makes me pretty excited and
Yes.
keeps me excited. And, trying to find new recipes, other people that are interested in this. And,
Hmm.
it's just, it's fun. It's a journey. It's interesting to listen to different people and to get different perspectives. And each day is a new day.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. Yes. I love it. So, what is a typical day and what you would eat a typical day and what would?
So, um, pretty much every day I eat something green, leafy. If I know that I'm going to have something for supper that might not be green leafy, it might be something like zucchini pasta or something, I
Mhm.
make sure that I eat something green during the morning, like in a smoothie.
Mhm.
So, about 4 days a week, I juice. I don't do it every single day, but I get up and I either have a big, huge mason jar full of lemon water or just plain water sometimes. I distill my water and I put a little bit of drops in there that have some minerals in it to like remineralize it.
Mhm.
And so I always drink that before I even start juicing, if I'm going to juice that day. But about 4 days a week, I juice, and I do three of them green. And usually one, I will add like a beet or carrot or something like that. Because I like to get something with color in my juice at least once in the week.
Mhm.
And, if I had more time and I wasn't still working and doing all these things, I probably might juice even more than that. But it is expensive and time consuming. So, I devote to those 4 days or so and have a couple off. But usually I work out about an hour in the morning and I always have like a smoothie
Mhm.
after that. And I kind of use some of the Purium products, and I also use Marcus Rothkran's green formula.
Mhm.
And the green formula has a lot of B vitamins in it, so I really see and feel a difference when I take those. So
Mhm.
I kind of switch things around a little bit. I might skip a day of that and do like maybe chlorella and spirulina as something a little different of a smoothie without adding as many greens, but maybe something different. I mean, I try to change it up so it's not the same exact thing every day, but usually I do something like that after a workout, depending on whether I use weights or not, whether I might add a little bit more protein from a raw nut butter or whether I might use a powder or something like that, which I don't use a lot of those. I do like Marcus's powder proteins and stuff that he uses with nuts and things.
Mhm.
And so that's usually my morning thing. And I usually like to have some kind of fruit like mid morning or later morning,
Mm-hmm.
maybe grapes or watermelon. And that just kind of fills me up and gives me some of the water content, like mineralized water.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually, lately, my suppers are getting closer and closer to being earlier. You know, there are nights when I haven't eaten until 5 o'clock, maybe 5:30 or 6, but I try to eat sometimes around 2ish. And then I might just have a few dates or banana or something later on,
Mm-hmm.
something that will fill me up without me really having a lot on my stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And or I'll make like nice cream. Some days if I'm off, I'll have nice cream after I eat, just to, because I still feel hungry for something sweet or something, so I'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's pretty much it. I mean, I make my salads every day, or whatever food I'm bringing with me. I chop greens and bring an avocado and a lemon. And I go out to my car and I've got all my gear with me, and I get everything into a bowl and just, I have everything chopped. And then I just take my lemon or cut up my avocado sometimes. And, that's what I eat for lunch. And everybody else at work is running to fast food,
Mm-hmm.
the fast food stores. And us hairdressers, we get kind of hungry because we're on our feet for a long time, and it's like we don't get a lot of time to eat. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, I have my food already ready, and I don't have to worry about getting so hungry that I grab something that I don't want to put in my body.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I've been doing it. And it is challenging. I'm not going to sit here and tell people that it's not a challenge, because it definitely is a challenge, and it takes a lot of effort. And sometimes I have to put things together at night so that I have time in the morning to juice, get my workout in, get ready for work. So it's a full day doing these things. But if I was not on these raw foods, I would not have the energy to do all of it. I just wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what makes it worth it to me. And I'm always grateful every day that I just have the energy to do it.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
So,
that's good. That's good. So do you have any, I know you have the little crackers that you may get sometimes as a treat. Do you have any other snacks that you could recommend to or make?
well, like I said, like Brad's chips are pretty good, and they're air dried, and they still keep in a lot of the enzymes, the live enzymes. And anything made by Brad's, I think, is good if people are in a hurry and they can't make their own. I always try to tell people to try to make their own, because it's just always best to not have things that are processed. But it's just not really realistic that people can do that all the time. So I've noticed that on other chips that I've looked at, I think that Rhythm is one of them, that they do add some like oils
Mm-hmm.
and some other things that I don't want. Whereas Brad's chips and crackers and stuff don't have anything that I wouldn't use, that
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't eat as a raw vegan.
Okay.
So I would definitely like suggest that. There's also like I think it's Gopal's seaweed wraps, and those are all natural raw.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also, recommend those.
Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Wow.
And I definitely wouldn't recommend French fries, something like that
Okay.
at McDonald's.
Yeah, definitely not. Yes. Yes. Wow. So I know you're busy and everything. Do you have any last remarks you would like to share with us?
Um, no, I don't know. I really wish that people would eat a lot more leafy greens, and that they would get more excited to eat more live foods
Mhm.
and not be so intimidated by vegan foods, and to have all these misconcepted thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and to start adding something raw every day to their diet. If they can't eat a fully raw diet, to just add one raw meal a day and start to see what happens in
Yes.
your body when you start adding more live foods. And I just wish people would be a little more encouraged to do these things, and they would see differences in their body, and that they can grow. They don't have to go straight into raw foods completely 100%. That you can start off slow. You can add, some of the cooked foods and steaming and different things like that, and you can even still eat some of the other stuff if you start to, if you're able to grow with this and start eliminating little by little.
Mm-hmm.
And for some people, it really just isn't practical for some people to just jump into raw foods. I wouldn't suggest for anybody to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be my tip, is just start adding more into their diet. Because if you look at the standard diet that people eat,
Mm-hmm.
you would just notice that it lacks so much green leafy foods and fruit.
Yeah.
That they might be adding a few pieces of salad a week. I mean, just nothing that your body really needs for the mineralization and life force that your body really needs to thrive and to feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. Thank you for those tips, and I do thank you for sharing that. Um, so thank you again for coming on.
Thank
'Cause I
you
know you
again for having me on here. I enjoyed talking to you, and hopefully one day I'll talk to you again sometime.
yes,
Keep in
yes,
touch with
yes,
me.
yes. I will. I look forward to having you back on. So
Okay, great. That's
okay,
great.
thank you again.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you again.
okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Take care now.
Okay, you too.
All righty. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you guys for watching. A thousand roses to you. Hello, Remilio. I hope I said your name right. Me and names. I don't know what that is. Thousand roses to you guys. Love yourself first because you are worth it. Peace.